Hi folks, I'm sorry for the delay in my final Hard Ready 8 video. The footage that I recorded on the day 3 of the weekend just didn't come out well, and it just took me a little while to get around to recording this, so I apologize for the delay. We left off with a little recap of day 2, which for me was range day. It was awesome. That's what I was looking forward to the most in the weekend because I knew it's where I had the most to learn and the most growth to do. It certainly did not disappoint. And after range day, there was a meetup at a place called the Gaston Poorhouse in town, which was great. As much fun as it is to spend the day interacting with each other, trying to punch each other in the face, it's also good to have some interaction outside of that setting. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm definitely an extreme introvert. I don't typically seek out social situations, and so I definitely appreciated the prearranged gathering with the group of like-minded folks. In theory, we were all there with an interest in self-defense and training, so that helped kind of break the ice a little bit and reduce some of the awkwardness. It might seem strange to talk about socializing in a self-defense training weekend, which is at its core all about keeping an undesirable person away from us, but that's just it. We're training to be safe, and we're not trying to isolate from society and be apart. It's just not feasible to be in a constant hypervigilant state and treat everyone as a possible threat. That's a recipe for extreme stress and burnout, and it honestly probably won't make us any safer in the long run because we'll just burn out from that. So it was great to have a nice social gathering in the midst of all the training in the weekend. Then day 3, I was definitely excited to train with Eli, Mark, and Anthony. I had trained a little bit before with Eli Knight, even less with Anthony Cortapella, and I don't think I had trained at all with Mark Corman before the Hard Ready weekend. Eli started things off with a great session talking about using striking in a grappling context to improve our positions and kind of move through different positions to ultimately control and either dominate or escape. This weekend is again geared towards self-defense. Of course, you're not allowed to strike in a sport setting unless it's combat jiu-jitsu, and then you can only use open-handed strikes. So this was more of a self-defense based course, which was great, very informative. I've trained with Eli a little bit before. Not only is he extremely knowledgeable, really good at breaking things down and explaining it, Eli is also, I think, pretty hilarious. There's tons of jokes mixed in. In jiu-jitsu and grappling, you can end up in a lot of very, shall we say, awkward positions. You're extremely close to your training partner, who you may or may not know very well. You might have just met them that morning, and you're basically glued to one another. So a little bit of levity goes a long way in helping kind of break the ice and the tension a little bit. And also reminding us that, of course, we're working on an important thing, trying to stay safe in a dangerous situation, but we can have fun too. It can be enjoyable training. We're all there to learn and enjoy ourselves. After Eli's class, it was Mark Corman with another really enjoyable, great session that basically had 2 parts. First was controlling the pace of the fight, and second was using striking to enter into takedown opportunities, which really kind of piggybacked well off of Eli's session, basically looking at how we could use striking to get to the ground, and then with Eli looking at how we can continue to use striking to improve our ground position. I had not trained with Mark before, but it was a great session, very informative, and it's just a ton of fun. And that was the session that had the most striking out of the day. It was mostly a grappling-based day, so it was kind of nice to mix it up and still get some shots in there, but still within the context of, at least for half of his class, using those strikes to set up grappling, in particular, takedown opportunities. And then the final course of the day and the weekend was Anthony Cortapella. He was pretty much entirely on the ground, and he focused on how we can get maximum control. Again, with a self-defense setting, not necessarily sport, although there is some crossover. Really focused on controlling, because that is where we're safest, as opposed to looking to set up primarily a submission opportunity. Some really great stuff from Anthony, some great little details, some little different ways of doing things. The tiny bit of time I had spent with Anthony training previously, I expected just that, some great little takeaways, and that's exactly what we all got. Overall, it was a fantastic weekend. Hard Ready always is. So much great information. I was trying to take notes furiously, and just another great weekend of learning with another great group of people. After Anthony's session, I hung out just a bit and kind of chatted. Then it was time to head back to Water Walk for a shower and actually a nap. I planned a late flight out of Charlotte, so I had plenty of time to lie down, get a bit of a rest, and then pack up my things, return the rental car, and make my way to my flight. Time to lay over for a few hours in Boston. It was like 1:30 in the morning when we landed. And so, all the shops were closed and it was still surprisingly busy, but not exactly packed. And I was able to find a little spot to close my eyes for a bit, just kind of hang out until I could make my way to a coffee shop or something and get a little bit of breakfast. Then it was pretty smooth getting home to Nantucket. Another little bit of a luggage delay, but not as bad as it was when I was going to North Carolina. Then my dad grabbed me from the airport. We went out to breakfast, and it was time to get a little bit of rest, kind of get myself together. And then it was time to teach a couple of classes. So another great Hard Ready weekend. I've already been incorporating some of the things into classes, which is always what you hope for from a seminar like that, being able to bring things back to class and use them right away. And of course, that's the best way to make sure you don't forget all those things that you spent that time, energy, and effort to try and absorb. So another great weekend. I can't wait for the next one. It's almost a shame that they're a year apart. As soon as it's done, I start thinking about the next one, basically. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you prefer the written format, I'll have a link down below in the description to a blog post in case you prefer that format or you want a little more detail in addition to the video. Until next time, happy training, and I hope to see you on the mat soon. Bye.